And I noticed that the only apartment at the back is the toilet. There
So get ready for a fight then.
isn't even an apartment, cabin crew and all of that. Like,
Hello guys, so what is happening now? Since the last video I posted, a lot has happened, a lot of reactions from several quarters. She was kept in prison because she could not bail herself. Beyond that, there has been mounting pressures from other eyewitnesses and from several quarters about the way she was treated. People believe that it was to the extreme and that she was ripped of her human dignity in the process. Even the NBA had offered to support her in a case to defend her rights. You know, they had issued a statement stating that the treatment of Miss Comfort Emerson by Ibom Air was reckless and violated her right to dignity of a human person. The air hostess, people are saying the air hostess triggered Miss Emerson that made her become aggressive. So some people were justifying it, but sincerely guys, let me tell you, I don't think anything anybody had done is enough to make this lady behave the way she did. I agree the air hostess can be called and not really a query per se, but have a talk with management, because a lot of people are talking about it and the image of the airline is at stake. If too many people are complaining about her behavior, she should be called in, but then so far I'm not sure there has been any official complaint. Nobody had written to the airline so that she can improve on her attitude towards passengers, be more courteous and all of that. Then for the case of Miss Emerson, it should be treated accordingly. I believe she assaulted the air hostess and should be arrested. One particular eyewitness account of interest to me is that of Mr. David Ogebe, who was a passenger on that airline and also a lawyer. He was on Channels TV and he came out to talk about all that transpired, and I totally agree with what he has to say. It's just a very balanced analysis of the whole issue. Let's listen to what he said in this interview.
I'm also excited to the fact that you're a lawyer. So we saw your statements. You released your statement, and I wish I could get to part of that statement maybe later. But you gave your own account of exactly what played out. If I summarize that statement, you are basically saying this lady was triggered. At no point did she refuse. But I'm not going to speak for you. You were on that flight. So tell us, where were you seated, your seat number, where was she seated, and what exactly happened that things escalated to the point? Because what you're going to tell us now is what none of us is... So none of us is privy to what you're about to tell us now. We've only had a statement from Ibom Air, and now a lawyer who was not in that plane but briefed by Comfort has spoken, but you are an eyewitness. So, Barrister, tell us what played out.
okay, thank you. Yes, I'm a lawyer, but I'm appearing this morning, and I'd like to just stick to that. Now, I was sitting to her immediate left. So I was on the aisle seat to the left. She was on the aisle seat to the right. So my seat number was 14B. There was a gentleman to my left who was on 14A. So her own seat number should be either 14C or D. I think the window seat is 14D, while she was 14C on the aisle. So we're right next to each other, and it was a small plane. So I think the distance between us was no more than 2 feet. Yeah, so I heard everything. I saw all that transpired. And yes, she was triggered. Even though the lady, the air hostess, the second air hostess who was speaking to her, was directing all her instructions to her, just me sitting down there, I actually felt humiliated myself, just looking at the way the lady was being spoken to. To be fair, Ibom Air instructed very clearly. The first air hostess that came instructed very clearly, no airplane mode, switch off your phone. After takeoff, then you can put on and put flight mode. So it was very clear. The first air hostess addressed us on the emergency exit row protocols. After she did that, she spoke to Miss Emerson and said, please switch off your phone. She told her twice, and then this first air hostess left to continue her duties. The second air hostess, who is the one blocking exactly who is being shown now, that second air hostess now came towards us in the emergency exit and stood, even from her posture, see that she came for trouble, and Miss Emerson had been fiddling with her phone. I noticed she was trying to do some stuff, I don't know. And so she told her again, switch off your phone, switch off your phone. And Miss Emerson said clearly to her, I heard it. She said, please, the buttons on my phone for switch off are not working. They are not working, so I don't know how to switch it off. And the woman said, no, switch off your phone. So that back and forth went on. So at a point, that's the second air hostess said, look, you're even using an iPhone. So you don't need a button to switch it off. So the lady said, okay, I don't know how to do it. Can you do it for me? And she said, I'm not touching your phone. I'm not touching your phone. Just switch it off. She said, I don't know what to do. So the lady now said, okay, go to settings. And when you go to settings, go to general. So the girl was holding and said, see, please, I can't understand what you're saying. I can't read. I don't know what you're saying. You're saying where I should go to. The woman, the second air hostess now told her, I don't have time for your nonsense. Please just switch it off. She said, I don't, okay. Mr. Martin now asked, can you spell a general? So the air hostess started actually saying G, okay, G, then E. So that was the point that the gentleman on my left and I said, come on, what's going on? Calm, don't speak to her like this. The second air hostess did not even acknowledge her. She didn't even to my side to even see that someone was speaking. So at that point, I asked the gentleman to her right. I said, please, can you...
Okay, guys, if you're listening carefully, the lady was even asking the air hostess. She said she cannot read, one, which sound funny. Two, she said the air hostess should spell general. But really, you can see that the passenger herself was playing a game with them, wasting their time. It's apparent because, and the senior air hostess had come with some aggression because the younger one had gone to escalate the issue, telling her that there is this stubborn passenger. Asking the air hostess to spell general, that was dragging the matter. Still, the air hostess should have been more professional about it and not to use words that are unruly.
Just help this lady. I don't use an iPhone. I've never used an iPhone, so I'm not too familiar with settings and all of that. So the gentleman to our right now took the phone and started trying to sort it out. So when that was going on, Miss Emerson started talking to the second air hostess. Said, why are you embarrassing her like this? Why? Why? And then the air hostess told her, you better keep quiet now. If you say another word, I will deal with you.
That was totally wrong.
That was when Miss Emerson flared up and started cursing. I cannot say the things that she was actually saying because the language was very flowery and X-rated, I can't say. So that was when this second air hostess said, okay, you proceed. And then she left and went towards the front of the airplane. She never came back. At least I don't recollect her coming back through the aisle throughout the flight. So that is exactly what transpired. So after that happened, the gentleman to the right switched off the phone or whatever it was he did. And a couple of passengers tried to say, switch off your phone, don't risk our lives, blah, blah, blah. And then we told them, no, that's not what happened. She never said she wasn't going to switch off her phone. She was trying to switch off her phone. She said she had issues switching it off. And so the passengers calmed down and we took off. So that is what happened. But it was clear, at least to us on the emergency exit row, it was clear that there was a problem here. She needed to be handled very well. Because this lady kept simmering throughout the flight. She was cursing. I could hear her because I was right next to her. She was really upset. She felt as if these people are just against me. And why? She said she bought this ticket with her own money. So why should they treat her like this? That's what she was saying, and that's what I'm hearing. And I can't tell you what the other thing she was saying because they were really nasty. But she wasn't directing to anyone, but she was just talking. So it was clear that she was angry. And the second air hostess, the aggressor, kept checking, kept peeping to see how things are going at our end throughout the flight. I noticed it. So the passenger by my side, as we're approaching landing, we're like, God help us, so let's get out of this plane before anything happened. And we were saying it in jest, but we also knew that something was off. We're so worried that I discussed with him. I said, okay, when they were telling us to stow away and put everything ready for landing, the lady didn't even hear any of that. I told her, I said, we're landing though. Switch off your phone, put it away. Then the second air hostess, the first air hostess, the very polite and amiable and professional one came, helped her to stow away, helped her take her purse, put it in the cabin on top, and was very professional. So all of that happened, and then the plane landed. Once the plane landed, the first air hostess, the professional one, came to the front and started disembarking by room. Just before it came to our turn, Ms. Emerson left and went back. And I presume she went to the toilet. I used the toilet myself, and I noticed that the only apartment at the back is the toilet.
So get ready for a fight then.
There isn't even an apartment, cabin crew and all of that like regular plane. This one is just the toilet. That's the only. So that's why I presume she went to the toilet. So when it got to our turn to disembark, those of us on our road disembarked and we went out and totally forgot about the whole part until the videos and all came. So that's what happened. This is what I heard. This is what I know happened. Issue of airplane mode. That didn't come up, at least I didn't.
So, Mr. Ogebe, first of all, if I heard you correctly, you said Ms. Emerson said she couldn't read. She was even asking that general be spelled.
Spelled. Oh my God.
Yes, that is what happened. So whether she meant that she couldn't see properly or she couldn't read, as in wasn't literate, I don't know. But that's what she said.
No, man. But still, the language of the senior air hostess wasn't called for. She ought to have controlled her temper and contained the situation. But it was apparent that the passenger was actually gaslighting and was cooking trouble at that moment in time. So guys, those are some of the updates from the last time. But turned out that after all of that, she was discharged. The aviation minister eventually ordered for the release of the passenger. There was a video of her leaving the courts that was shared online.
I don't wake up every day wondering how I can make others like me. I wake up determined to make myself proud. The journey isn't always easy, but I know this. The struggles, the late nights, the setbacks, they are all stepping stones toward growth. Every time I fall, I rise stronger. Every challenge I turn into a lesson. I'm not here.
So here's a video of she and her friends when the court discharged her after a Lagos court struck out the 5 counts charge against her. So guys, what do you think? Nothing explains the behavior of Miss Emerson. In my opinion, nothing can justify her behavior. She went beyond what is acceptable. I believe the air hostess should be called in and spoken to, and to be courteous at all times to passengers, even when the passengers are rude, which was also a fault. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments and see you in the next video.